Hello, hello. Hi, I'm Weiser Cornell, and this is Support for Stressful Times. You know, I am feeling a lot of stress these days. How about you? And I'm so grateful that I have focusing, a process of gentle accompaniment to my feelings. I want to tell you a story of something that happened to me yesterday because this coming Friday, 3 days from now, I'm going to be getting on a plane for the first time in 15 months. And yesterday, I was feeling an increasing sense of dread in my body, very unpleasant. And here's the funny thing. I teach and I share in these meetings about saying hello to how you're feeling, saying something in me feels. But I didn't do it all day yesterday. So there's a big difference between knowing these things and actually putting them into practice. So finally, it got bad enough that I did what I teach, which is that I closed my eyes, I put my hand on my heart, and I said to this part of me that was feeling so bad, sweetie, I really hear you're feeling a lot of dread. And what comes after saying you really hear is to stay with it and listen. So I stayed with it and listened. I listened if that, if I got it, if I understood, was dread the correct fitting? Yes, there was a sense of little slight relief. And then I stayed with it longer. And it wasn't about being afraid of flying. So interesting. It was about something about breaking the routine, leaving the house, going into what now feels like a big unknown. What are airports like now? And so on. And when I heard that, I really felt a lot of relaxation. I let it know I heard it. One of the things that's very interesting is I often assume I know why, right? Are you stressed? Why are you stressed? I assume I know why. But when you actually listen to the body feel of the whatever it is, stress, dread, anxiety, and then you listen to what it feels it's about, it can really be surprising. And we don't want to assume in advance that we know what it's about, because that would be like going up to a friend and saying, hello, how are you? Don't tell me, I already know. See, we don't want to assume with what we're listening to inside that we already know what it's going to tell us. So just taking a moment to see what people are writing in the chat. Ayesha says she's struggling mentally today. Okay, glad you're here. Glad we can be here for you. Marguerite, yeah, you know about knowing versus practicing. And Maria says, I'm sensing something in me that's stressful for no apparent reason. Well, we don't know the reason until we don't know the real reason until we get into a relationship with what's here. Yeah, let's take a moment to do that together. How about that? Feeling your body supported on the chair, feeling the body resting on that support. Pausing. Taking a pause is key. When we take a pause, everything else becomes possible. When we rush through our day, it's hard. So we're pausing together right now. That's the best of all, isn't it? That here we are together, pausing together. I love it. I can feel it. If you feel like taking a nice deeper breath, and then bringing awareness to your whole body, body supported, touching what you might be sitting on, and then bringing awareness inward. That area that includes your throat, your chest, your stomach, your belly, especially. All of your body is welcome, but especially this inner sense area. And how is it in there right now? Do you find your awareness? Notice if you find your awareness drawn to something, tightness in the throat, uneasiness in the heart. I have uneasiness in my stomach right now. Yep, now that I said that, I felt a little something in my throat as well. Yeah. It's not necessarily one place, and it can also move around. So just be there. And if you feel like putting a gentle hand on the place where you feel something, that's fine. Notice that your hand is not meant to make it feel better. We're never trying to make ourselves feel better. We will feel better, but not because we had to make ourselves feel better. So the hand is simply to give company. I am with this. I'm giving company here. Yeah. And now that you're giving company, gently sense how it would like to be described, the place that you're sensing, right? I used the word uneasiness already. I'm checking with it now. Does it feel like it's uneasiness? Takes a while, it doesn't happen right away. There's a part of us, maybe up here, that can answer questions quickly, but this isn't even a question, it's just a sensing. And taking time is important. You're giving yourself the gift of taking time. You're already being generous and compassionate toward yourself. And finding some words that describe how it feels. I see some people are writing in the chat. Ridged and sharp. Or a storm in the chest. Yeah. Next step. Say to it, I'm sensing you are here. And we're saying that very kindly, right? With like how we would feel toward a baby animal. Yes, I'm sensing you are here. And I am here with you. So just this much. I'm sensing you are here and I am here with you. Now, sometimes that doesn't feel easy or possible, but if it's possible, I think you'll feel it makes a difference. Yes, I know you're here, uneasiness in the stomach, and I am here with you. Oh, yeah, that already shifted. Great, great. So you can go on, keep your hand there, keep listening. I'm going to talk a bit more, see what people are saying in the chat. Sonia's writing about, I feel I've made progress with some of my inner questions, but I keep maintaining my body tense. Yeah, that means there's still something there that needs attention. And part of me thinks I'm not able to reach this tension and liberate it. You know, the parts of us that think, that I represent that with my little red dragon. I can't solve this. I can't figure this out. I can't do this. This is impossible. That's a part. And it's a worried part. It doesn't tell the truth. So I'm saying hello to a part of me that says I can't ever shift this, and I'm coming back to it. Julie's feeling tightness in the breath. Hi, Julie. Della writes, I sent a birthday card and pictures to a 93-year-old cousin who died that same month. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened. And you were feeling rejected, that you were not informed by the family, and you miss your conversations. Ah. So there's the missing of your dear cousin, and you can be with that. Let that feeling of missing. It's so important that we're not trying to change our feelings. You wouldn't want to make your missing feeling go away, but you can still be with it. Give it company. That's true of all kinds of grieving and sadness, and there's so much of that this year. But maybe in every year, because life can be hard sometimes. And then the feelings about not being informed by your family, those need some attention too. All right. Corey's smiling about the dragon. Yeah. Don't believe all your thoughts. That's one of my most important messages. Especially thoughts that make you feel bad. Like, there's something wrong with me. There's something broken about me. I'm doomed somehow. Oh my gosh. That's definitely a part that's worried, pretty panicked actually. And it doesn't tell you the truth. But Maria writes in the chat, I'm worried about the future and the things I can't control. Oh, yeah. I'm worried about going to an airport. So definitely there's so much out there that we can find to worry about. And there's something in us, most of you, I think, share this with me and Maria. When there's something we can't control, that can be hard. It's unpredictable. It's uncertain. I'm really getting in touch with how much something in me really liked the predictable routine of knowing I'd be at home every day. And something in me says I've gotten too used to that, but it's just how it is. So let's be with something in us that feels worry about the future, things we can't control, the unpredictable, and so on. Be with it. Keep it company. What a difference there is between being caught up in our thoughts and feelings versus turning toward them. Who is it who can turn toward any part? If I have a vulnerable young part of me and a judgmental other part of me, who am I? Well, I am the whole self, not a part. And I call this self in presence. It's the self that holds the whole space for every part of me. Now, self in presence, it's a funny phrase. It's something Barbara McGavin and I invented to mean that yourself is in a state of presence when you can turn to anything inside you and say, hello, I'm here with you. You don't have to first feel good. You can first turn toward. You can first notice that there's something in you feeling stressed or uneasy or sharp or grieving, missing. And turn toward that. And by turning toward and using the language of hello, I know you're there and I'm with you. By doing that, you are increasing your ability to be that one who can give that kind of gentle, attentive caring. You are that one. Say hello. You are the one who says hello. You are the one who's able to say hello. You don't have to first feel good. I think that's wonderful. Oh, Catherine is writing about another instance of reaching out to a 94-year-old person and finding the phone disconnected and nobody got in touch. I'm so sorry that happened. That must be so strange to not know. Lily writes, something in me says that others don't like me. It sounds so true, but I turn to it and I say, hello, I know you're there. You can also say, hello, I know you're worried that others don't like you. Because these worried parts state things as if they're completely true, as if they know this is the truth. Other people don't like you, or you're no good, or you're hopeless, or you're you- you'll never amount to anything, or the world is going to hell, or we're all doomed anyway. It says these things as if they're absolutely true. That actually is what people do when they're worried about things. They say them as if they're true. We're going to be late. We don't actually know if you're going to be late. You're worried we're going to be late. So that is what the part is doing. It's saying, as if it's true, something that it's worried is true. And amazingly, what happens when you turn toward a part of you and say, sounds like you're worried, quite often it relaxes quite a lot because you're saying something that is true about it. Mary Lynn writes, my curiosity bites off more than it can chew and doesn't give this gorging on ideas and information enough time for digestion and integration. Well, Mary Lynn, what I'm hearing is that you've realized you need more time. And you're noticing that something in you drives you to input more and more. And look what you're doing. You're noticing that. That's just brilliant. That's so great. Daniel writes, something in me senses a certain way, but tells me that it has been told and continue to be told it must not feel that. Yeah. I try to tell it to stay honest to itself, but I have failed it so often. Though I'm working to be stronger, it doubts me. And now I say hello to the pain I feel from that. Let me just say that I feel so sad and angry about the ways that we're told not to have our feelings, that certain feelings are bad or wrong. There's no such thing as a bad feeling. We get confused because sometimes we take actions that we feel like our feelings caused, but your feelings don't cause actions. You're there choosing to take that action. And the more and more you come into presence and say hello to your feelings, the less likely you are to take actions that you haven't chosen because a part of you hijacked you and took you into that action, right? So I found myself yelling at my partner. I could have paused and noticed that I was upset, taken a break, walked into the other room for a while, let him know I need a little space. Instead, I found myself yelling at him. But it wasn't my upset that made me yell at him. It isn't the upset feeling that's to blame. I get to feel upset. But what I do with it, how I express it, what I say about it, isn't the responsibility of the feeling. It's not the feeling's fault. And anger, by the way, is the one that's, I think, most gets confused here. People says, I can't feel angry because then I would break something. No, it isn't the feeling of angry that would break anything. You get to have the feeling of angry. And it feels like it wants to break something, and I'm letting it know I hear that. So anyway, back to what Daniel said. I do know that many of us, when we grew up, have been told that our feelings were not okay, that we shouldn't feel that way. And I feel sad and angry that ever happened to anybody. And what can we do now when those feelings come? We can say, hello, I know you're there and I'm with you. And it's okay to be here. And I suspect it's actually another part that says, but we've been told not to feel that. We've been told we're not supposed to feel that. Yes, I know. I hear you. I know that was hard too. And you can say hello to both of them. And then there's nothing you need to do differently, right? You're letting the feeling be here. You're letting the years of hurt and mistrust from being told not to feel the feeling, you're letting that be here too. The next steps come from that. They come forward from that. Deb writes, I feel like I sometimes pick up other people's emotions and that feels scary. Yeah. When I first began to learn about that I had an inner world. I was about 22 years old. That's when I met my mentor, Eugene Genlin, the guy who gave us focusing. I started to learn that I had an inside, and other people were interested in what it was. People would say to me, well, how is that for you? That did not happen in my family. In my family, it felt like what you were supposed to do was guess how other people were feeling, intuit it, empathize with it, and then take care of their feelings. Your own feelings were not given consideration. That's how I feel like that was the unspoken rule in my family. Take care of other people's feelings. So I was too good at empathizing with other people's feelings. So Deb, maybe the thing for us to do, what helped me anyway, is to get better at sensing my own. The better I am at sensing my own feelings, the easier it is for me to feel the difference between my feelings and other people's. And Angelica says, I sense something in me trying to keep me distracted. And something else feels guilty about it. I'm avoiding being productive. So interesting. Okay. Sounds like there's something you need to get done. And instead of doing it, you're doing other things, Netflix, reading, enjoying nature, whatever else you're doing, whatever distracts you, talking to people, going online. So there's a something in you. And I would say, try saying there's something in me that doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to do the productive thing. There's something in me that doesn't want to do that productive thing. And see what happens next. See if you can feel it inside, stay with it, listen to what's going on. Who knows what that'll be? I'm tired. It's too hard. I don't have enough help. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that might be. Sean asks, are feelings the same as thoughts? They're not. But what we call our thoughts take such different forms. You know, if you imagine, a great thinker sitting in a study, writing a book of philosophy, she's probably thinking really great thoughts like E equals MC squared or but the thought, there's something wrong with me, is a very different creature from this philosopher coming up with helpful thoughts. The thought, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, I'll never get anywhere, those are not exactly thoughts. I would rather call those the expressions of parts of us. And they're the wounded expressions of parts of us. They're parts of us that are worried that are saying those things. Yeah, Cassandra writes, I, as self in presence, am the perfect listener because I sense what something in me is feeling and it gets that I truly hear it. That's right. Inside ourselves, we can be the best listener because we really get how this something in us is feeling, but we still can't assume. We have to actually pause and listen. Oh my gosh, a half an hour has gone by in the twinkling of an eye. Sam writes, I'm sensing something in me feels overwhelmed by my feelings. Yes, exactly. So be with, see if you can feel the place where something in you feels overwhelmed. Is it kind of up here in your throat or in your face or all over? And then put a hand there and say, I really sense how overwhelmed you're feeling by all these feelings. So the feeling of overwhelmed may be the first thing we need to be with before we can be with anything else. And feel your feet on the floor or wherever your feet are, and your seat on the chair or wherever your seat is. And then you are the one who can say to the feeling of overwhelmed, I am here with you. Lovely. Wow. Well, let's review what we said today. we said it's so important to actually do the things we're learning instead of just to think we know them, but we aren't actually doing them, as is my experience yesterday. And what we're learning is that we can pause, find a place, come into the body, allow a place to come to awareness, to draw our awareness, and describe it. Put a gentle hand there if that feels right, and listen. Say, I am here with you, and I'm here, and I'm listening. Everyone is empathy deprived, and you can bring empathy to yourself. Thanks, everybody. We'll do this again in 2 weeks. So nice to be with you. It's lovely to be with you. Thank you so much. Bye.